Many years, Bram was the most famous carpenter in the village of Oakhaven. His hands were strong, his tools were always sharp, and every house he built was as sturdy as a mountain. He worked with smooth, hand-molded clay timber and bright painted shingles. Everyone knew that if Bram built your home, it would stand forever. But after decades of sawing and hammering, Bram was tired. He wanted to spend his days sitting in his garden and watching the clouds. He went to see his boss, a kind man named Hugo. "Hugo," Bram said, wiping sawdust from his apron, "it is time for me to hang up my tool belt. I am ready to retire." Hugo looked sad to see his best builder go. He thought for a moment and then held up a finger. "Bram, you have been my best worker. Could you do me just one last favor? Could you build just one more house? It's for a very special person." Bram sighed, but because he liked Hugo, he agreed to do the job. Even though he said yes, Bram's heart wasn't in it. He was thinking about his garden and his comfortable chair. He wanted to get the job done as fast as possible. Instead of carefully picking the best cedar, he grabbed the first crooked boards he found. He didn't bother to measure twice, he just wanted to be finished. As the weeks went by, the house began to rise, but it wasn't like Bram's other work. He used thin, cheap nails and didn't bother to sand the rough edges of the walls. "It doesn't matter," Bram muttered to himself as he slapped on a thin layer of gray paint. "It looks good enough from the outside. No one will ever know." The windows were a little crooked, and the front door didn't quite close all the way, but Bram didn't fix them. He was too busy counting down the days until he could stop working. He didn't put any love into the fireplace or any care into the floors. To him, this house was just a chore standing in the way of his freedom. Finally, the house was finished. From the street, it looked like a normal cottage. But Bram knew the truth. The roof might leak, and the floors would definitely creak. He stood back and wiped his hands on his trousers, glad to be done. "Finally," he whispered, "the last house I will ever have to build." Hugo arrived the next morning to inspect the work. He walked around the house and nodded, though he didn't look at the details as closely as Bram expected. Hugo reached into his pocket and pulled out a shiny, golden key attached to a blue ribbon. Bram reached out to give Hugo the final report, but Hugo held up the key instead. "Bram," Hugo said warmly, "you have given so much to this village. I wanted to give you something back. This isn't a house for a stranger. This is your house. It is my retirement gift to you." He pressed the golden key into Bram's hand. Bram's heart sank into his boots. He looked at the crooked door and the thin walls and felt a deep sting of regret. Bram realized that he had been building his own future all along, but he hadn't done his best. We are all like Bram. Every day, we build our lives with our choices, our work, and our kindness. If we build with care, we create a home we are proud to live in. If we rush and do less than our best, we are the ones who have to live with the results.